it's got to be insane person who is old and losing his marbles and like totally not unfit dictator, but like
losing his marbles. Yeah. I like that.
Hello, everyone. I'm JVL here with my best friends, Sarah Longwell and Tim Miller of the Bulwark. We are bearing down on 3 weeks to go in this election, and everything's going great. Yesterday, Donald Trump held a town hall with a woman who might or might not have still been Kristi Noem. Hard to say. And, you know, at the very end was just like, let's stop asking questions. Let's just hit the playlist, and then sort of stood there and swayed. And I'm very confused, Sarah, because I need to ask you. I've been told for 18 months leading up to July 21, voters are super concerned about Joe Biden's age. And that's the only reason that they're supporting Donald Trump, because they look at Joe Biden and they think he's not all there and he can't do the job. It's just about the base question of, can he do the job? Now the Democrats have nominated this, like, you know, 60-year-old, youthful, energetic vice president who's supremely qualified.
Can I just object to this before Sarah talks? I know Sarah talks. Can we just criticize Trump without the fucking context of Joe? We don't need to talk about Joe Biden.
I'm going to defend
the precious. Doesn't really have anything to do.
I'm going to defend the precious.
We can just judge Donald Trump on the merits of Donald Trump. It's bad enough. Tom Nichols did this to me today too, where I've got to like. You know, like, we're not going back. I don't need to relive the Joe Biden
I would
discourse.
like to stand up for the greatest living president.
That's fine. You can do that if you want. I've got Bob Woodward on the pod on Thursday. He also thinks Joe Biden was great, apparently. So if you want to submit a question or two, I'm happy to do that. Sorry, Sarah. I just want to focus on Donald Trump, if that's
fine.
okay.
So
Sarah, what did you think watching this?
Yes,
either last night or this morning, when you saw it, did you think like, oh, this is resistance Twitter just making a big deal out of it? And then you saw it and thought, oh, dear God.
No, this is not what it's. You're underselling how crazy this was, because my team, what happened was in my Slack, right? The RVAT team is live clipping Trump's event. And suddenly they were like, you guys need to watch what's happening right now at this thing. Like, this, you know, I've got this poor guy that we torture in our office who watches all of these. His brain is turned into MAGA mush because he just has to watch every Trump rally and live clipping.
He's taking over the podcast from me in December, actually.
That's right. Shout out to Jared. And so Jared's going, guys, like, I know these are weird, but I'm telling you, the weirdest...
Does Ocean know that you are giving this job to a person?
I know. I'm going to have to replace him with AI eventually. He's going to be like in a padded cell, you know, all tied up. But he's saying in Slack, guys, like, tap in. This is insane what is happening. You've never seen anything this crazy. And I was sort of like, how crazy could it be? What is he talking about? Hannibal Lecter and sharks and electrocuted and whatever. And he's like, and he says, several people have passed out at the event. And so Donald Trump, and it's a town hall, it's not a rally. And this is a key point, because the point was for Donald Trump to take questions. And so he had taken some, but like people were passing out because apparently there wasn't AC. And so first Trump made an awkward joke. He was like, what did he say? It was something like, we all need to lose a few pounds. It's good that it's hot in here. Anybody else need to pass out? So like, there's a couple medical emergencies. And then he's like, nobody wants me to just keep taking questions. Let's listen to some music. And then proceeded for 30 minutes to play.
39, I believe.
39 minutes. And so my team, I was like, is this for real? I was like, well, what songs did he play? And so they were Shazamming each of the songs and gave me a set list, which is apparently a set list that is used often at Trump events, because it's his just favorite. So and it's like,
this is hand curated. These are things he likes.
This is like the Rich Men of North. What is that song? The North Rich Men of
Richmond.
Northeast. North Rich. Anyway, that song. Sinead O'Connor's "Nothing Compares to You," which how dare he?
Pavarotti.
How dare he? Ave Maria is
Cats.
the opener to this.
I believe Cats is in
Memory
there.
from Cats.
Yes.
Memory, which is funny. Memory is the single worst song from Cats.
Ever
so like
performed on
obviously he
Broadway.
loves it. Yeah, it's terrible. And that thing is, there's lots of good songs on Cats, by the way. I'll defend Cats.
That is your worst opinion ever.
No, there are...
Save that for the secret.
Okay. Well, Mungle Jerry and Rumpelteazer, there's a lot of fun things. It's based on a T.S. Eliot poem, Book of Practical Cuts, whatever. There's good stuff in there. But Memory is terrible. So the point is,
That's what it's like for you when people talk about sport.
it is. Would you like me to go deeper on the Andrew Lloyd Webber canon?
No.
So
It's not really as good as Starlight Express, Sarah.
also good. Also a good show. Underappreciated. Whole thing's done on roller skates. But the thing about Donald Trump is he just stood there and like the camera's on him. So he just sways back and forth. It's like having a health event. It was like watching someone have a nervous breakdown. So he stopped taking questions, and then people just sort of slowly filter out. Like they just start leaving because people have been passing out, and he's just not taking questions, and we're just listening to music. That is the single weirdest thing he's ever done, and he's done the most, so many insane things.
Is that weirder than the balcony, the post-COVID balcony salute?
No way.
But that was an Evita moment. We can bring these all back to musicals.
It all
The
does
Don't
go
Cry
back
for
to
Me,
musicals.
Argentina.
The Evita thing where he's heaving his breath. You can see his deep COVID breaths. No, that was way weirder.
It's true. Maybe it's not the weirdest thing ever, but it's pretty weird for just like a Trump
Yeah.
like event. Anyway, that's sort of the end of it. Like he did that, and if Kamala Harris had done this is such. It's not even worth making this point because it's so obvious. But I do want to say that if Kamala Harris just went to one of her events, some people passed out, she made a couple jokes about that, and then said, "Hey, let's listen to some music," and everyone just stood there. What do you think would be happening right now?
Well, the music would have been better. We would have had Too
Banner
Short.
across the head, right?
At least people could have bopped, right, to Megan Thee Stallion.
We would have had Too Short. Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion,
Tim,
Beyonce.
Is there any chance that this paired with the word salad and the weird non-answers that he was giving at the Economic Forum event today, that at some point people look up and say, huh, this incredibly old and obese man with the pallor of a corpse maybe isn't up to holding the job of chief executive of these United States for 4 more years?
I want to get to that, but I need to share something with you that I shared with Tom Nichols already this morning, so I apologize for double listeners, but I think it's so good it's worth having multiple people's takes on it. This man, I'm just doing everything I can to elevate this fellow, Matthew Remski, who's apparently an expert on cults and Far Eastern cults. He wrote this: Trump surrendering tonight's Q&A to 30 minutes of his favorite songs while standing on stage awkwardly conducting at times echoes many instances of cultic leaders who, exhausted, ill, and at the end of their cognitive rope, outsource their emotional dominance subroutines to canned music they personally find exquisitely sentimental. As traumatized narcissists, they're seeking comfort and avoiding work, but also assume that their core memories of pleasure will make their power and soul transparent and accessible to their followers. I mean, I've never seen somebody hit it so much on the nose in my entire life as that guy. I mean, this is exactly what's happening. Trump is like, what was that documentary? Did you watch the documentary about the Great North in Oregon and the cult leader? Trump is the dying Buddhist cult leader.
I watched this.
What was it called?
Was it called The Prophet?
No, it was so good. Sebastian Eppert this. It was in Oregon. It was a cult leader. It was an HBO documentary.
No. It was really good.
It was so
actually.
good. It's a worthwhile watch. I watched it during COVID, so everything's a blur. But but that landed with me. I mean, this is really like, and it ties to the cognitive ability question, because it's like, he's just, it's not the behavior of a sharp person. It's the behavior of somebody that is like sharp Trump back in 2016 in the final 3 weeks. I mean, say what you want about him. Not a brilliant man, but he could level a hit. He could do a read, as they say in RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, he'd be up there trash talking crooked Hillary, making some jokes that I didn't find funny, but the people in the crowd found funny. You know what I mean? Like, he'd be doing that. That is not what this was last night. Like, in between the 39 minutes, which I suffered through, he would stop periodically and start talking for 2 sentences, but that was like rambly, and he'd be like, "These are evil people. The Democrats are evil people." And he'd be like, "Play the music louder."
Major interviews, right?
Play the music.
He's afraid to be in front of 60 Minutes, afraid to be in front of any
CNBC
sort of audience.
thing.
Yeah,
it's a guy that wants his comfort. It's an elderly man that wants like his comfort ice cream. He wants to be at the club around his people. He doesn't really leave his clubs that much when he's not doing these rallies. And, he wants this music. It makes him feel good. It's the end of the third campaign. There's a little bit of a nostalgia element to it. He's trying to feel a feeling somewhere inside. I think the cult expert got it. And it is crazy. I just like, will this make a difference? I don't fucking know. Why I'm not going to pretend to know what is going to make a difference for the remaining people. I have some theories about specific groups of people, but like, I do think it is worthwhile to continue to remind people that this man will be older than Biden is today at the end of his presidency. He will be a very, very old man at 82, potentially the prospect of jail on the other side, because who knows what else would still be happening at that point. You got to figure he's going to commit more crimes. Now, some of them will be immune because of the Supreme Court, but Donald Trump's not above committing crimes outside of the official duties of the White House. He will be upset that someone will be taking his, like, just the imagining this man 4 years from now with the button is like insane. Like, it is a literally insane thing for the country to do. And I would hope that maybe that this could help remind some people who are on the fence about that.
Can I talk about this, why it matters?
Please.
Or will it matter?
Yeah, please.
Please.
Make it matter. Okay, so I want to go back to the period of time when Tim Walz was auditioning to be the VP. And he basically landed on messaging that kind of turned everything around, right? He said they're weird. And it became this sort of clarion call, right? And it got to the point where it was a little bit too much. They were all just using the term weird. That being said, Democrats were at their best when they were doing this, because that narrative encompasses a few things. One, it is offense, okay? It's offense. Two, you are unlocking something higher, right? So this isn't about going policy for policy with these guys, which is a mistake. You will lose on points, but you can win on the bigger picture by unlocking something that people know deep down, which is this guy is crazy. And I think that they lost kind of that big picture North Star, and they get kind of mired, and everybody's giving them advice. Close with abortion, close with this. And I've talked about going on offense on the economy. Everybody's got advice for these guys, but nothing was better. They were at no point were they better than when they understood that they needed to just brand the other side as nuts. And they have got to go back to that as their closing argument.
So can we add something to it? Feeble, deranged,
but that's
dangerous.
Right. He's all of those things. But just make it about you. They have to own the news cycles, but make it about Trump, right? Yeah. I think this is, people struggle with this because they think if it's about, we're talking about Trump. We're talking about the crazy thing that he did, but that's not enough with the Twitter class to do it. They have to center it as a campaign and say, it's too much. You don't want this. You don't want his finger on the button. You don't want this guy running anything serious. He's lost his marbles. It's crazy. And that, and she's one of the things that was interesting, the split screen, because this is what concerns me, is last night we were all talking about Trump's rally because it was so bananas. She was also in Pennsylvania holding a rally where she had a great rally.
Good rally.
She was being substantive. She was playing clips.
It was basically her stump speech.
Yeah,
it's a good rally. It was the stump speech plus the clips. That's what it was. It was a good rally.
She did this thing where she was playing clips of Trump talking about unleashing the military on people. Yeah. And I was like, yes, this is right. We have got to make it about Trump. I do always think, though, it can't just be he's talking. It can't just be strongman dictator stuff, because again, you get into these strong, weak frames. It's got to be insane person who is old and losing his marbles, and totally not unfit dictator, but
losing his marbles. Yeah. I like that. We're spitballing here. I like losing his marbles.
Yeah, but I think that's the closing argument. I think everybody's going to wring their hands and be like, do we close with this or that, or defense on immigration? No, he's insane. He's lost his mind.
And he'll be even, and he'll have four. I can't think about how many marbles he'll have left in 2028.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's losing them, but I think they'll
know.
be down to a single marble banging around in there.
We know that audiences can stick with this particular argument because they did it with Biden.
Right.
We know it can land.
Yeah. I mean, the weakness in this line of attack is what if
people want
47% of the country wants crazy?
That's not true, though. We know that's not true. We know that's not true. I mean,
do we?
There is an extremely alarming high percentage of the country that could be as high as 42% of the country that wants an insane strongman. I think it's probably lower than that, but it's not 47. And it's just not. Like, we've seen his number go lower. We know for a fact that he's getting support right now for people that disapprove of him personally. So there absolutely are people that that do not want crazy. I mean, it's a disturbingly small number, I would say, but it is certainly enough to win the election. Wild Country, by the way, is the documentary. Thank you,
Wild Country was it.
Wonderful documentary. Insane cult leader.
Quick word from our sponsor, my friends at Boll & Branch. You know what I love? A nice cozy fall night while curled up in my bed. Fortunately, I've built the coziest bed imaginable with Boll & Branch bedding, made with the finest 100% organic cotton. These sheets are the perfect foundation for better sleep, and you can easily add Boll & Branch's bed blankets, duvets, and quilts without making your bed feel heavy or hot. You can feel the quality in their sheets as soon as you touch them, and they feel buttery soft. The nice people at Boll & Branch were kind enough to send me some more sheets, and my wife said, "You got another set of sheets for us? Why didn't you order one for one of the kids?" And I was like, because they're mine and I love them. And I'm not going to share my sheets with their children. Haven't they taken enough? The weather has turned here in the New York metropolitan area, and it is now fully fall. And last night I opened up the windows to sleep with a little nippy chill in the air under my Boll & Branch blanket with my Boll & Branch sheets. It was just awesome. Is there any better sleep than like under warm covers on a fall night sleep, Sarah? I'm not going to ask Tim this because obviously Tim is a monster who likes to be at like 110 degrees.
Yes.
That's the worst. The best thing in the world is to be warm when it's cold, right?
Yes.
I'm like leaving the windows open right now. I've also got my Boll & Branch sheets on the bed. They are silky smooth, buttery soft, whatever it is you say. But they're great.
Best of all, Boll & Branch gives you a 30-night worry-free guarantee with free shipping and returns on all U.S. orders of $100 or more. Start getting your best night's sleep this fall with Boll & Branch. For a limited time, get 20% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/nextlevel. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/nextlevel for 20% off and free shipping. Exclusions apply. See site for details. You won't be sorry. These are the best sheets I've ever slept on. All right, Tim, I'm sorry about making you sit through this, but Glenn Youngkin went on Jake Tapper's show yesterday, and you and Tom Nichols talked about this a little bit on the pod, but I feel like I needed to get a couple wax the pinata with Sarah. Sarah, so,
I'm just going to sit here and drink my wine. We're taping this one in the evening, and it's starting to get tough for me. We'll get into it in segment 3, but I haven't been drinking and podcasting, but I'm having a glass here, so I'm just going to sit back and let you guys take some swings at Glenn. I think it's going to be good for me to get out with the people. I need to get out with the people. I think I've just been sitting in my box, increasing in rage every minute I see I see the poll chart not move. And so I think it'll be good to get out with the people. But in the meantime, I'm going to have a glass. It's a green. It's a green.
What are you talking about, man?
I don't even know what any of that means.
Yes, it was a shard.
It's a white wine.
It's a green.
Okay.
Anyway, you guys do Youngkin.
Did you see Glenn Youngkin sitting down with Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper read him all the things that Trump said and played the clips, and then Youngkin said, "Yeah, that's not what he was talking about. He didn't say that." I would like to get your thoughts on this.
Well, it's bad, JVL. I didn't care for it. Glenn Youngkin, I
Were you a Youngkin fan? I heard lots of people in the comments being like, "Wasn't Sarah a Youngkin stan?" I was like, "I don't think so." It's like, I don't think so, but maybe she was.
No, they're confusing him with Larry Hogan, who is
DMV.
He was way better. Yeah, that's right. There's Maryland and Virginia, and they both have what are known in D.C. as good Republicans, thought to be good Republicans. But I've never liked Glenn Youngkin because, what is Sebastian saying? There was a moment you wanted Youngkin to come into the GOP primary when DeSantis combusted. Maybe. That maybe was true. I don't know if I wanted it so much as I thought maybe it was going to happen.
Also, wanting somebody else to come to the primary to challenge Trump does not equal being pro-Youngkin.
Yeah, that's right.
This is okay. Sarah, your honor is defended.
Thank you. Youngkin's always been bad. But what did I used to always say about Youngkin that he was MAGA in the sheets and Mitt Romney in the streets.
Yeah, that was good. I stole that from you, actually.
Yeah, that was my Youngkin take.
Yeah.
Or was it the other way around?
I can't now it's track. Hard to remember. Now it's hard to remember which one he is. He's the worst. He's a Chris Sununu type.
Yeah.
Right. At least Larry Hogan's trying to be a good guy. I think he's wrong about some things, but like he is not endorsing Trump. He will not defend the bad stuff. He's out there looking for Democrats.
Chris Sununu at least endorsed a primary challenger to Donald
That's
Trump.
true. Youngkin didn't do that.
Youngkin did not do that.
Yeah. I loved this interview though, because this was just Youngkin being like, that's not true. And Tapper's like, I'll read it to you again. Like, what do you mean? And it was like, it was that Orwell quote of, they told you to deny your eyes and your ears. And this is how Glenn Youngkin is going to live in the Republican Party under Trump. He's just going to, but like they've all been doing this. This was like when, Manu Raju runs around with Trump's tweets. He used to do that and everybody would be like, I haven't seen the tweet. Don't know what you're talking about. This one, because this was about the military turning on civilians.
Yeah, Adam Schiff. And Glenn Young is like, no, I think he means arresting illegal criminal immigrants.
And literally in the quote, it's like, it's not even one of these where you're kind of trying to read between the lines of Trump.
Right. Which would that pronoun, who does that pronoun refer
Trump
to?
Two times in the sentence says, I'm not talking about the illegals. Like twice in the quote, he's like, I'm not talking about them, actually.
The Democrats and the socialists.
The worst people are the enemy within. He clarifies multiple times. The illegals are bad. I'm not talking about them in this case. I'm talking about the enemies within.
So and I don't know how many times this has to happen. Like there was this point at which I can't even remember it now. It's only like 2 weeks ago, but Laura Ingraham was trying to give Trump an out on something. She was like, but you didn't mean that you were going to do X. I can't remember what it was, but it's some insane thing. And he was like, no, yeah, I did. No, I mean that. I'm going to do that thing. And they're all just like, oh, okay.
So I mean, Glenn Youngkin is who we thought he was. I'm not even mad.
I am. He's slightly worse. Can I just? I know I didn't get to do this today, so I get to add a point. He's slightly worse than we thought he was. I would say. I don't know. I mean, if you had told me in 2000 and when did he first run? 21.
Yeah.
That like Trump will run again next time. He will ostensibly endorse him in the primary. He'll support him in the general election, and then he will go out and surrogate for him and run cover for him when Trump threatens to sick the military on
his
Adam Schiff.
100%.
Yeah.
I would have said, I don't know. I'm on the. I mean, maybe not on that one. I think I would have said maybe not.
I would have bet a watch on it.
You would have bet a watch on it. I guarantee you, I got some friends that are in the Glenn Youngkin world that would have told me, no, dude, no way.
Of course,
come
but
on.
That's what they always do. They always say no, it's not going to happen until it happens. At which point they then say, well, of course, this was always going to happen.
Sure. Okay, fair. I'm just saying it's worse than I think what the median outcome was for Glenn Youngkin. Maybe not as bad as. Not worse for JVL, who always thinks the worst for people, which has turned out to be right 90% of the time.
What I'm mad at is Jake Tapper. And I'm not even really mad at Jake.
Jake?
I'm mad at TV.
Jake killed it. Jake
he was good.
No, Jake was good, except that he then moved on. And he allowed... No, listen to me.
It was 5 minutes. They did 5 minutes.
I don't care. To present somebody to your audience who is insulting your audience like that and not pull the plug on the interview, or to simply refuse to move on until the end of the interview and then pull the plug, is how we get here. And this isn't a Jake Tapper problem. This isn't even a CNN problem. This is a TV problem, because the mores of TV are that you have to move on. Right? You have to move on.
I'm sorry, I have to take this one, Sarah.
Hold on. Let me finish making my point.
I'm so sick of this. You're hitting on a big pet peeve I have right now.
Go ahead.
So continue.
Let's fight.
I'm just so sick of this. Like, for starters, Jake Tapper did fine. He put him on the spot. At least he got Youngkin to do the interview. Youngkin won't do the Bulwark podcast. I've asked. It's not, so it's not like I can do an hour with him on January 6th like I'd like to. So he's not going to do it. So he's in a situation where he'll at least do it. Jake embarrassed him. Everybody agrees. But if you're going to complain about something, the fair JVL thing to complain about is the people, because it doesn't matter. Like, the problem is I'm a little bit, I'm at the end of my wick on the lefty, like, it's the New York Times' fault, it's CNN's fault, it's the Washington Post's fault. None of the people that matter watch these outlets. Like, we're all just fucking arguing with each other. The only people that watch CNN are Kamala Harris voters. And, like, not even that many of them anymore, frankly. Not even that many of them. What?
That's true of MS. I don't know that it's entirely true.
It is true of CNN. There are the number of people that are Donald Trump, like the Donald Trump voters have totally separated themselves from the mainstream media world. And, like, nitpicking the AP headline about the crazy, it's just like, that's not the problem. There are some problems out there. I think that local media has some real problems. The local news, like, there's certain things, but it's just like obsessing over this is like crazy to me. It's not the problem. Like, Jake is not the problem. Glenn Youngkin is the problem, and the voters.
It is 100% part of the problem. 70 million people voted for Donald Trump. Like, 400,000 people watch CNN in the evening hour or whatever. Like, it is not true that every Trump voter has separated themselves and is watching Newsmax and Fox. They don't all live in alternative bubbles. And the question is, when you are a journalist, who do you serve? And you do not serve the newsmakers, you serve your audience. And to place in front of your audience somebody who is lying to your audience, and to know that you're doing that.
But I don't think that Jake didn't know he was gonna do that. Yeah, Jake nailed him to the wall.
But he started doing it. And then, like, again, this is sounding anti-Tapper, and it's not, because I like Jake a lot and I think he did a good job of it. But he moved on, and this is what always happens. This happened with the debate we had with St. Larry last week. I don't know if you guys saw this, right? You and I talked about this, Sarah, where
we talked about it on Secret.
Yeah, we talked about it on Secret, and we get to the end, and she Angela Alsobrooks makes this great point about Larry. The whole point of being a senator is voting, and you voted for a dead guy, and you said you're going to vote for a dead guy again. This is disqualifying. And there's this
about
pause.
hard choices. Yeah.
And Chuck Todd then says, "All right, so I have to ask: Commanders or Ravens?" What the fuck? And
that's a different situation.
No, it's all the same.
Well, hold
it's
on,
television. It's
hold
all
on.
the same. It's television.
Did you see the J.D. Vance interview with the New York Times with Lulu Garcia Navarro?
Mm-hmm. I did not watch it.
Okay, so this is it's a good example of how difficult it is to do this for the media when now you are dealing with inveterate liars,
yes,
and people who are going to gaslight all day long. So she does this thing. She's got J.D. Vance, and she says, "Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?" And he said, "Well, that's not the issue. The issue is," and he starts going back to her saying, "Well, did they censor the Hunter Biden laptop?" And then he makes it, he's like, "It's about big tech." And she says, "Let me ask you again."
Elon Musk is on stage at Donald Trump rallies.
Yeah. I know, but she said, sorry, "I'm asking you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?" And he said, "No, you answer my question." Blah, blah, blah. And she just keeps going back and saying this. And he just keeps not answering it. And like, is she going to do that for 25 minutes?
Yes.
Like, she did it 5 times.
She did it
do it for
5 times.
25 minutes.
She asked him 5 times. And then it's like, okay, to what end? So you have the clip. It's embarrassing. Everyone sees the clip now. It goes around on TikTok. Frankly, that does more service. Right? Like, nobody, I just want everybody to free themselves from New York Times criticism for the last 3 weeks. There literally is zero Donald Trump voters reading the New York Times.
This is TV criticism.
Yeah,
and the reason you can't do it on TV is because you have to book guests.
Okay. Well, we have
and you
TV,
can't book more guests if you set a guest on fire.
Well, TV is the 1990s medium. Like literally, like TikTok is a totally dumpster fire of shit. Like they're massive platforms of bubbles that people get themselves into on YouTube, on other social media platforms. Like nobody's watching CNN. Jake did a really good interview.
A lot of people watch CNN.
It's the problem.
It's an enormous company. You know, giant buildings, tons of people working there. It's a big deal. The other one of these things, which isn't quite media, it happened in a debate in Jersey this week between Tom Keene, who's the rep for New Jersey 7. He's the son of a popular governor who was like a very Christy Todd Whitman, late 80s, early 90s governor in Jersey. He's running against Susan Altman, and Altman says to him at one point, because they're having a conversation about immigration and Trump's deportation plans and whatnot, and she says, "Tom, I mean, you know, should the president deport migrants?" And this fucking guy, does this. And he just stares into the camera. And clearly he had prepped for this and had decided that if this subject came up, he would simply stand mute until everything moved on. This is not the first time he's done this. He did this with a reporter for like a minute some time ago. And this is again, and so they were like, well, I guess we just have to move on. And I think, no, don't move on. It's a 90-minute debate, I think. That should have been the entire thing. And in fact, Susan Altman should have stood there and just made fun of him and said, look at this. Sorry, Sebastian, bleep that out. Do you know why he's standing there not talking and not saying anything? Because he's a coward. And this is why he won't fight for you, because he's a coward.
Okay. I understand why you're upset about this. I do think your anger is slightly misdirected. And I think it's misdirected for 2 reasons. One is...
I have enough anger for everyone, Sarah.
You're very upset that Donald Trump is not doing worse and you want to blame somebody.
Same, by the way.
Sure. But also, if you're going to lob a media criticism, which I think you can, I just don't think like Jake Tapper, who was genuinely holding Glenn Youngkin's feet to the fire on this, like, I don't think he's your bad guy. I think your bad guy... Hold on.
Okay.
Listen,
I want to say, I don't think Jake Tapper's a bad guy. Love you, Jake.
I know, but I just,
My problem is the medium.
He's not your bad guy. I do think you're right that cable news or much of our institutional media was just not built for so much bad faith.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
It is insufficient to the moment, but I do think what one could, like, I think where I think it is falling down is what it chooses to cover. And so today, right, I feel like the cacophony should have been around, like, the media should have been asking the question, is Donald Trump in early stage dementia? Like, what was that last night? Like, is he okay? Is he having a health event? I do think they did this with Biden at the debate. Like, why doesn't the media ask, is Donald Trump, like, are they pushing hard for his health? He's like, he was tweeting today, Kamala Harris has many things wrong with her health. I am perfect. I don't know. Feels like someone ought to explore that because he seems not great, actually. They should be talking about his age. They are choosing out of boredom. I got asked today a question by a reporter about how is Donald Trump different than he was in 2016 and 2020. And I think that's the wrong question. Like, we can answer that and we can be like, he's older and crazier and suckier and he's post-insurrection. But like...
Good answers, by the way. Those are all very good, strong responses and true.
But the question is like, how are we different? Right? Why can't why haven't we figured out how to focus on? It's like we got bored. Where it's like, I hear this, right? It's like, well, but this isn't a news story, Trump being crazy. So how can we cover it? And that is where I think the falling down is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I will make an actual media criticism, which is that often in the media, my sense, I have not spoken to every single journalist in America, but the sense is journalists are reluctant to write about something that they think nobody cares about. And if they think that nobody cares that Trump might have dementia, and there's a lot of evidence that many people don't care, then they're unlikely to write it. And I get that. I understand it. As somebody who writes about foreign policy only to see people not read my foreign policy stuff, I understand that you feel like you...
I'm sorry. I guess I just have to be the Brian Stelter on this podcast or something. But I'm sorry. The problem is and maybe we're bored with this at the Bulwark. And this is it. The problem is the Quisling, Tom Keene, and the Quisling, Glenn Youngkin, and the fucking people. That is the problem. They both got put on the spot. They both absolutely failed. So did JD Vance. Everybody can see it for their own eyes. Everybody can see it's not like I hear what you're all saying about like the focus on should be like, should we be questioning Donald Trump's dementia? Nobody that has even modicum of interest in this campaign has been denied video of Donald Trump being crazy. Like there's plenty of video out there of it. It is, they're playing it on the news. They're playing it on social media feeds. The crazy video thing last night of him singing to gay show tunes, has been well out there.
Oh my God. Your tweet was so funny. Him stealing your culture, or what is it? Wearing your culture like a costume.
My culture is not your costume, which I stole from something. I don't even know what I stole the reference from. It's a stolen thing. My culture is not your costume. YMCA, but the cruising
you culturally
anthem.
Appropriated a quote about cultural appropriation.
Oh, I did. So anyway, that's my rant. It's like, and it takes us to the next segment about the polls are and who I think that our anger should really be
First,
pointed at.
Tim, brings us to a message from our next sponsor.
It does, Lumen. Didn't I just say that? Hey, Lumen, what's up? This is a Vino. It's a Vino Verde, by the way. Vino Verde. Okay, just you can Google that if you want to. It's it's very refreshing.
Is it green in the sense that it's made from greener grapes, or is it supposed to be environmentally friendly?
No, thank you. It's green in the sense that it's younger. So if you have a green grape, that hasn't fully ripened or whatever. So this show is sponsored by Lumen, the world's first handheld metabolic coach. Lumen is a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know that if you're burning fat or carbs, and it gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even stress management. Here's how it works. All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism. Whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs, then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time, and Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. Metabolism is your body's engine. It's the center of everything your body does. Optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, including weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, and better sleep. I should be breathing into my Lumen more, is my takeaway from that. Because I don't know what's going on in my body after spending some time in Baton Rouge this weekend at the football game and spending all hours of the night consuming MAGA media and Nate Silver's polling updates, I think has things not at its optimal health. And I got to tell you, when I was breathing into the Lumen and I got to see what my optimal health was, it made a difference. And that is something that I definitely am going to get back to. I don't know, after Thanksgiving. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/thenextlevel to get 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/thenextlevel for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode.
What are the manifestations of your stress as you do this? Because I will say, I am going through multiple Band-Aids a day because of the way that my fingers from being chewed on and picked at. Like, it's so gross. But if we should get a Band-Aid sponsor, sometimes some people are like, because I'll have like a frozen Band-Aid, because the only Band-Aids in our house, I'll have like cartoon characters on them for my children. Yeah. People will be like, what did you do? Did you cut yourself? Because they see me gesticulating with my hands covered in Band-Aids. No, it's my stress.
Yeah. Manifestations of my stress are a just like rising rage inside my chest that happens like 8 to 12 times a day that I need to offset with deep yoga breaths and very vivid dreams. I'm having very unbelievably vivid dreams that are like rage dreams. Get your head out of the gutter, JVL. Rage dreams, not bad dreams. Very vivid rage dreams I've been having for the past few nights. So yeah, nothing to see here.
How about
That's
you,
my
JVL?
secret. That's my secret, Sarah. I'm always angry.
You're always angry. There's no
By being
fluctuation.
always angry, I hit moments like this. This is just where I live. This is baseline. All right. So, Tim, would you like to talk about the thing I wrote?
Yeah, I loved it.
Not yesterday.
So,
did you read yesterday's? Did you read the footnotes yesterday?
I did.
Tim?
It's funny. I did
What
read
you
yesterday's.
guys talking about?
So yesterday's newsletter for JVL, there was some little political intro that I'm kind of forgetting what it was, but then it was talking about cross country and this really excellent cross country running school somewhere in the New Jersey, New York area. And it was super interesting. It was kind of about the psychology of kids sports. But I'm upset that I didn't read the footnotes. If I'm on my phone, I think the footnotes are harder to get to. Yeah. And so I didn't read the footnote, which apparently there was a Sarah joke in there. So I'll have to go back and get that. Today's newsletter, which I really liked, and I'm very happy to get to since we had that disagreement about poor Jake Tapper, who we all love, was just like, what was the title of part one? Cope. It was a cope.
It's the cope that kills.
Something like that. Yeah. It's the cope that kills. It was a cope hope metaphor. And it's just like the reality is, and I get it. Everybody is dealing with their stress in their own way, as we just discussed. And I honestly, I do not begrudge anybody out there that wants to like just grab on to any data point or any pundit that tells them that everything is going to be okay and just stick with that and spend 3 weeks blocking out anybody that
and
tells
maybe
them anything
things
else.
will be okay.
And maybe things will be okay. Yeah, I honestly, I do not begrudge you that. I do not begrudge anybody that. It is a stressful time. That is, I don't think that's, I would begrudge that if it was like the campaign strategy or a pundit strategy, because I actually don't think it's helpful for people to be sanguine, at scale. But at the individual level, if you are already voting for Kamala Harris and already doing your door knocking or your phone banking or your postcarding and you made your donation and that's all you can do, you've told all your friends to vote, then, and you don't want to be upset, that's fine. I get that. What I don't like is the people like on social media and in my text, like trying to bully me into like being like, no, everything's okay. What are you talking about? Everything's great. We're fine. We're on the great bed. And they do
the
so.
Bed.
Yeah,
You're a bedwetter.
And they
we
do
don't
so
need your
by,
negativity. It only helps them.
Yeah.
I'm
And they
sorry.
do
My
so
job
by
is to tell you guys
pointing-
the truth.
Thank you.
My job's not here to make you feel better.
Correct. And they cite a couple of data points in doing this. There is the data point that like early voting is looking great for Democrats. Like that is totally voodoo. There are a couple prominent people out there that are doing the rounds, talking about how great early voting is. I'm telling you, if you want to get to the dark place, go watch MSNBC clips from 2016 October, search early voting, and see what the data experts and the registration experts were saying. The Florida early voting looked so great. By the way, one of those experts was me. So I'm learning from history. And the reality is there's been a massive change in this country. And Sarah talks all the time about the realignment and who's voting for who, but how we vote, the change has been even greater than who we're voting for. And so and in 2020, it was a pandemic. So like there was a huge displacement, like who voted early and how they voted. So there is no baseline with which to compare this year's early voting demographics to 2016's early voting demographics. Like, I'm sorry, there's just no way to do it. And if you don't believe me, you can look at what the experts said in 2016. They thought that Hillary was on the path for an 8 to 9 point win in Florida because of the early voting looked so good for her in Florida. So, so that's one of them. Everybody's seen the other ones, whatever, about like poll skewing and how there's the other one I get a lot is Republicans are with junk polls are skewing the averages. Not true, actually. I think it was Nate Cohn or somebody did an analysis of the averages with and without Republican aligned polls. And like, it is true. I guess it's true in the sense that it makes it like 1 point better for Kamala if you take, or maybe like a half point in certain states and 1 point, if you take out the Republican junk polls. So like, okay, great. I'll take that half point and pocket that, but that's still not good enough. Like it's still unbelievably close. Nate Silver has it at 50-50. If you don't like Nate Silver, that's fine. If you think it's maybe 52-48, I'm for that. That sounds right to me. I think I'd probably rather be Kamala 52-48. You could even sell me on 53-47, not the popular vote count, but like likelihood to win. That's insanely close. That's way too fucking close. It is unimaginably close. And it's possible that there's a poll error in Democrats' favor. That is totally possible. But the poll error was in the Republicans' favor the last two presidential cycles. It has been in the Democrats' favor in the midterm cycles, I should say. But in the presidential cycles, it's been in the Republicans' favor. So there you go.
Sarah,
have a drink of Vino Verde if you're listening to that.
It makes me think of No Country for Old Men. That scene where Anton Chigurh goes into the gas station and he's talking to the old guy and he says, "How much have you ever lost on the toss of a coin?" Right, and that's where we are.
Oh my God!
He kills that guy, by the way.
No, he doesn't kill that guy. He lets that guy go. That guy calls it.
The gas station?
In the gas station, 100%.
Oh. Should watch that movie again.
The guy's like, I can't call it.
Not in the next 3 weeks, apparently. Oh, that just gave me the shivers just thinking about that.
That moment when Anton Chigurh says, I'm sorry, for anybody who's a No Country for Old Men fan, he says, this guy's like, how did you wind up? How did you wind up here? And the guy's like, well, I'm married into it. And Javier Bardem does this thing where he catches himself and swallows. And it says, you chose this? You married into this? What an amazing piece of acting. But that's where we are. We're at a coin toss for the rule of law, the international order, democracy.
I think the head side of the coin is slightly heavier.
But who cares, right? Because it's a one-time outcome. We're not flipping it 100 times. Right. Where, we'll see if we do it 100 times, then 51 of them will you don't get to play 1,000 hands of blackjack here. Sarah, I'm trying to talk in a language that speaks to you.
That does speak to me. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel the anxiety like you guys do. I will say I basically only look at polls now from Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. I had Ralston on the pod, the focus group pod. We did Nevada and Arizona. And
you given up on those two?
What?
Have you given up on those two?
It's more like I'm willing to let them go. Like I'm not fighting hard for them emotionally. Okay. It's interesting. The focus group.
It's one of the stages of grief, isn't it, Sarah?
Yeah, that's
bargaining,
right.
Bargaining. If you just give me the 3 blue wall states.
No, I'm an acceptance.
I'll let you have Arizona.
Yeah, that's right. North Carolina. I never thought we were getting North Carolina. And so I just think Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nebraska too. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nebraska too. And the thing that has been cheering me up generally is that she has been consistently ahead by 4 points in Pennsylvania, which has been the toughest polling state for her of the ones she has to win. She's been widely ahead. There's not that much polling in Nebraska too, but she's been quite a bit ahead there. We just did a Pennsylvania focus group today. Clean sweep for Harris among our swing voters, which is unusual. We've usually been losing 1 or 2, sometimes 3. Like we did. I did 2 groups out in Nevada in real life for Judy Woodruff for PBS. And in both of the groups, one there were 2 going back to Trump, a man and a woman. And then the other one, there were two going back to Trump and one who literally would not decide between the two. He kept being like, "You're making great points" to everybody. I just don't know what I'm going to do.
They're both so good, I can't pick.
Yeah. And Nevada's funny because, not Nevada, Arizona, because they hate Carrie Lake. Hate her. All of them.
Yeah, it just makes all the sense in the world. They hate Carrie Lake and
sexism.
So they're going to vote for this guy who...
Sexism is a nice through line there.
Yeah.
I think, well, Carrie Lake's done some weird stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I asked...
She's suggested that the military go after Jeff Flake, for example. Very strange, outlandish.
She defamed Stephen Richer. She lost that defamation case, but she also she leaked. I'd forgotten about this.
She entrapped him, didn't she?
Yeah, she secretly recorded and leaked the head of the Republican Party. So she's lost a lot of the Republicans out there too. She also flipped on abortion.
I'm so glad those guys are willing to draw a line.
I know.
That's
I
really great.
asked what's the difference between Carrie Lake and Donald Trump, and the answer was, well, Donald Trump's at least delivered something for these people. Like, she's just, been stirring things up. They were all going Gallego, but not, actually, that's not true. It's funny. Actually, I hate to preempt my podcast like this, but there was the one guy who was voting for her was like, we got to get her out of the state. We got to send her to Washington. We got to get her out of here. I'll vote for her because just get her as far from here as possible.
I don't want to see her at the grocery store again. She's creeping me out. Can I object to those, Sarah, really quick, Jerryville? I'll let you go just on one point. Sure. I stipulated we can let Nevada and Arizona go and get the 3 and the 1 and I'll be happy that night, whenever it's called. But Kamala Harris winning 270 to 268 thanks to a congressional district and thanks to Pennsylvania, where if you watch that 60 Minutes, it was the most horrifying segment of television I've watched all year. I will not recommend that you watch it. 60 Minutes with the head of the Pennsylvania electoral voting system. I don't know whatever her title was. I forget. Not the Secretary of State, like the actual board of elections. And she went through how they count. And it's like they have an envelope and then another envelope.
The secrecy envelope.
So they've got to open both envelopes and then they get it out and it's folded 3 ways. But to get it to go through the machine, they've got to refold it backwards, one at a time. And then they stick it into the machine. One. And they're like, how long does that take each one? And I don't know, a minute or two. I was like, and they can't even start counting until 7 or 8 p.m. on election night because of the fucking Republicans. I'm laughing. This is like tears of horror laughter. It's sadness laughter. The Pennsylvania, who knows when they'll have it counted by.
Saturday.
And I know, and the number of examples that that the Republicans will have of making shit up and fake voting shit. It's just anyway. So my point is, great, 270, we'll take it, chalk it up, send them back to Mar-a-Lago. We'll figure out what's next from there. But we are in an ugly, ugly, ugly fucking place in this country. If that asshole gets 268 electoral votes and there's a fucking mob of oath keepers in Harrisburg while they're refolding back the ballots back the other way to get them to go into the machine.
We're running real long here.
Oh yeah, can we just underscore? Who cares? We're taping this on a Tuesday night. Yeah. We're going on a bus tour.
Okay, we'll give the people the supersize show.
They're fine. Okay.
Anybody that's made it this long is going as long as we want, I guess, is one thing I would say.
All right, go ahead, Sarah.
This thing, I just want to underscore because people might not know this. They tried to pass a law to allow Pennsylvania to open the ballots, not count them, just open the envelopes and get them prepped. Right? Both the envelopes, and most places do this. They've got the secrecy envelope and then the outer envelope that you put the stamp on. But they tried. The Democrats tried to be like, how about we just prep these early? We'll open them and then we'll tally them the night of, but we'll have opened the envelopes and gotten them prepped. And the Republicans said no.
Gee, Sarah, why do you think that?
There's only one reason I can think of why they would do it. And it is because they want the time, right? They don't want to know that night. They want to be able to claim in the interregnum where people need an answer that there was some mischief. That there was, it is all about sowing doubt. No?
Totally
you have a
disagree.
different theory?
Totally disagree. They want to not have a definitive answer so that Trump can claim victory. That's
similar
what
point.
this is about.
Yeah, that's sort of what I said, but
No, but it's not doubt. So, I mean, this is I wrote about this today.
You're
this is
making
my
a
question.
distinction
Do you want to
between
get into
sowing
this?
doubt and just claiming victory. Is the
Right.
distinction.
Like, because it is not, there is a difference, right? In 2020, the Republican position was not, look, we don't know who won because there are a bunch of problems and irregularities and we've got to get to the bottom of it. That was not the Republican position. The Republican position was Donald Trump won. Right? And that,
even though he got crushed.
So I guess, do we want to do this when we are with a live studio audience and I've been able to have some Xanax chased by alcohol? Or do we want to talk about now my questions about what happens even if Kamala wins?
No, let's save that.
Save that?
I'm with you. I'm with you. We can say that. We got a lot. We have multiple shows this week. It's going to be there's going to be a bonus next level for people this weekend. We have a lot to cover, but I don't know. I mean, do you have any, I am curious though, JVL, before we go to the final segment, do you have any, you want to revise and extend anything for the newsletter? I mean, you had like 800 comments, a lot of feedback. Was there anything that you...
Also, what did you say in your newsletter?
Just that it's really just basically what I just said, but it's really fucking close. And
literally yesterday I had a footnote on a line that I wrote just for you. And the footnote said, "Hi, Sarah." Because I was expecting like, and she'll send me a little text and she'll be like, "Oh, JVL, you get me." And
I saw that it was about kids sports, and I was like, nope.
I was busy. We got busy.
Sarah, do you have a message for us from another sponsor?
I do. Our final sponsor of today's episode is OneSkin.
Did you have OneSkin?
I love OneSkin. Did you have a little too much fun in the sun this summer? It's no secret that UV rays can take a toll on our skin, leaving it dried, tired, and less vibrant. If you want to hit the undo button on UV-induced aging, say hello to OneSkin, your secret weapon against the summer's toll on your skin. OneSkin products are all powered by the revolutionary OS1 peptide. This proprietary peptide is scientifically proven to reduce dysfunctional, also called senescent cells, a central source of skin aging. Crush that. Their scientists have shown that it can actually reverse the biological age of skin by several years in their groundbreaking research. Healthier, more youthful looking skin doesn't just look great, which we all want, obviously, but it is good for your overall health too. As the leaves change color this fall, help your skin undergo its own transformation with OneSkin. Their products work tirelessly to repair, rejuvenate, and erase the signs of summer damage, ensuring you step into this new season with the healthiest skin of your life. Head over to oneskin.co and explore how their products can become your skin's new savior. They mailed me a ton of these OneSkin products. It is now all I use. The eye cream, the sunscreen. Tim, have you been using your OneSkin?
I have. Yeah, I have. Not the
You look great.
sunscreen. Probably should be using the sunscreen, but I have been using the face moisturizer, the eye cream.
The eye cream.
Yeah, I need more. Probably why you don't think I have been, because I have what my mother affectionately calls as Uncle Al's, as a homage to her Uncle Al, who had just these epically massive bags under his eyes.
Put luggage in it, go to Europe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I inherited those. And so here's a little fun fact. In addition to using OneSkin religiously, I've also been applying face makeup only to the under eye, and it's been very good actually. So you haven't really noticed my massive travel bags, cross Atlantic Ocean travel bags, but I forgot to do it because it's a night podcast. So don't be fucking blaming OneSkin. It's my lack of makeup application that's the issue.
I have so much to learn.
OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, targeting the root causes of aging so skin behaves, feels, and appears younger. It's time to get started with your new face, eye, and body routine at a discounted rate today. Get 15% off with the code THENEXTLEVEL at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code THENEXTLEVEL. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. We only have one body, one skin, and only you can choose to make it better. Age healthy with OneSkin. Thanks, OneSkin.
Please support our show? Or did you also have a glass of wine?
I'm sorry. You know what? There's a lot of S's in the OneSkin ad read.
Senescent cells.
Senescent cells. And I nailed that line. So support away.
Support our show.
All right, so Tim, you had your first ever VC, a salt of the earth venture capitalist on the show.
Not an elite.
Not an elite, just a guy who likes to roll up his sleeves and tap away on his computer and create wealth and jobs and value.
Capital allocation.
Oh, man, I love it. It's so great.
Capital allocation.
I just think capitalism's the best. Tell me
I'm
all
turning
about it.
into Bernie. I got to tell you, I'm turning into Bernie. Every additional rich person I meet moves me one step closer to becoming Bernie.
I mean,
I do have to say,
there's
with
a reason.
with love to all the great rich people that listen. So maybe not every additional rich person I meet, but like out of every 10 additional rich people I meet, 7 of them move me one step closer to Bernie. The conversation was interesting. The quick backstory is that with the help from Barry, we had posted, these guys have this podcast, the All In podcast, very influential in Silicon Valley. Trump has been on it. All 4 of them were against Trump last time. 2 of the 4 are now major Trump donors. One
because
of them
of
is
January 6th, right? They just saw that and they thought that's the kind of strong leadership we need.
Well, we got into
They
that.
couldn't get on board Trump in 2016. And they really couldn't get on board Trump in 2020. And after 2020 is when he showed them his mettle.
Well, he showed a kind of a founder's mentality, really, after 2020.
Move fast and break shit,
It was a
man.
real disruption.
Yeah, it was a disruption of the system, of the
He
established order.
disrupted the peaceful transfer of power. That's the kind of disruptor mentality we like.
So anyway, a third member, there's a fourth member of the token. It's kind of an Alan Colmes character on the podcast who talks the least. And then the third member of the podcast is this man, J. Cal, they call him Jason. And J. Cal took offense to the video that we posted, which was just audio of them talking.
You should explain it. You haven't explained.
Yeah. We had, so with Barry's help, we had posted this audio. Yeah, we had posted this. Yeah, audio of them, a supercut of them after January 6th and what they all said. And I don't have it in front of me, but the long and short of it was they wanted him jailed. One of them even suggested they add up all of the sentences of all of the rioters and give that total sentence to Trump. They called him a delusional lunatic and a fuckwad. And I don't have all the words in front of me, but the worst words you could come up with. And so now, fast forward 4 years, 2 of them are major donors to Trump and they're major advocates, and they had him on the podcast. They gave him a softball interview. So I posted this. And the third guy, the wishy-washy guy, Jason, felt like we misrepresented the views, the full context of their views. And so he wanted to come on the podcast. And I said, I'd gladly do that. That's great. Like, we can have an exchange of ideas. Jason is friends of Elon. He's friends of David Sachs. And two
of the great intellects of our time.
Yeah, David Sachs spoke at the RNC. Elon's spoken on the Trump rally. He claims to be neutral. He calls himself a double hater, Sarah, which you'll appreciate. There's one of those
does?
left. No, this guy J. Cal, the one that came on the Cal, he's Jason. Okay. So he calls himself a double hater. And so I just kind of wanted to explore it. So it was going to be kind of a short bonus segment, but it was so enthralling that I kind of had to keep going and learn more and keep peeling back the onion. But I wanted to figure out what it was really that turned these prominent billionaires who are succeeding beyond the imagination of anyone in world history, from being anti-Trump to pro-Trump. And
it's the plight of the forgotten man, isn't it?
Yeah, and Jason was kind of hard to pin down on that point. But we talked for quite a long time. Yeah, and I think it was. I think it was revealing. It was not akin to like my Dan Crenshaw interview, which I appreciated your praise for that on the Secret podcast. It was not akin to that where I was like shouting him down. It was more like I just wanted to let him explain himself because it's so inexplicable. And really what you come away from at the end of it, I think, I'd encourage people to listen to it if they have the stomach for it, is the depth of their criticism of the Democratic Party is like 1 centimeter. And they just, there's a confluence of factors. They don't like the woke. They felt like the Democrats were mean to them. There were several references to how Chamath and Elon had donated money to Biden, but they weren't invited to the White House. So there were some personal affronts. I know.
I mean, you're supposed to. God knows. Like, you give money to people when you're rich. They're supposed to just tug you off whenever you ask.
Do stuff for you. Yeah. There was quite a lot of discussion about how the Democrats' attitude towards job creators and self-made men was very negative. And so I pushed on that point in specific. I did push, and I was like, but are there specific like policies that Biden implemented or that Kamala is proposing that you felt like were an assault on wealth creators? No. The answer to that was no. It was just the vibes. Their vibes were bad, he said. And then he also mentioned several times that they think Kamala.
You mean like when she opened her convention speech to accept the nomination of her party, by the first thing she did, talking about small business owners?
Yeah. Well, they're not really worried about small business owners. They're looking at big business owners. Yeah. And he did several times call her stupid, which several people have commented that there's maybe a hint of misogyny there, maybe just a hint of sexism, that they think that Kamala is stupid, but don't feel that way about Donald Trump, who I don't think has ever read a book. So that was most of the exchange. We had a couple agreements. We agreed on crypto, and I think that the maddening part about the whole thing is just like, it was Hannah Arendt. Like, I not to make my podcast seem more lofty than it is, but like, it really was just the banality of evil in 45 minutes. Like, he had nothing. Like, there was nothing. He seemed like a nice person, actually, and the substance of the critique of Kamala was just completely barren. Like, the cupboard was barren, like, as far as substantive concerns. And so I guess they're going to sleepwalk us into autocracy, because they feel like they'll get treated nicer by Donald. He'll invite them there, and they'll probably have be able to put impact regulations in ways that help their portfolio companies and do other kind of grifty stuff like that. And so it was kind of a downer in that sense. But I think on the positive side it was quite revealing.
Wow.
Something.
Sarah, that is something else. Did you have there was something else you'd want to talk about too, Tim?
Oh no, I mentioned.
Did you like the way I teed that up in case you wanted to back off of it?
Yeah. We don't need to do it. I don't need to just pick on people one-on-one. The J-Cal thing, we had him on the podcast. It's tough. I guess my final comment on the J-Cal thing is like, it ties to the anxiety in the Vino Verde. Is like, how are we here? Like, this person, like, there is one of the things I read from him was a tweet of his that he had sent, which was actually could have been from JVL, really. It was like, you guys are all miserable. Like, the economy is booming. Like, we've run up, the stock market is on a huge run up. Unemployment's down. We have a ton of, if you want to invest in companies, there's a ton of investment income out there. Silicon Valley is on the rebound. He sent this tweet and he's like, I don't understand why you all are miserable. And like, I read that back to him and I was like, and so why do you want to blow it up then if everything's fine? And like, again, he just doesn't have a good answer for that. And so that is it's very frustrating. Like, I don't actually know if I would feel better if we were on the cusp of the Donald Trump third term because of like some great recession or something that was beyond our control. But I feel like I'd feel a little bit better about it because I'm filled with contempt for the people that are getting us here. That is really overpowering my whole being.
I have a question, just real quick to get us out of here. I'm sorry, I did not listen to it.
I just posted.
I couldn't
couldn't
make myself do it. Is he one of these people who can't imagine actually blowing it all up? Like, I guess this is my question. Is he a Curtis Yarvin, like, or Mark Andreessen or Peter Thiel, like, democracy doesn't work?
No.
Or is he one of these guys just like, yeah, it's everything's great. It's always been great. It'll be great no matter what. Everything's fine.
The latter. Everything's always turned up Jason. You know, everything's turned up Jason. His dad was a fire worker, and, you know, he managed to get at Silicon Valley right at the time where everybody was getting rich. And, you know, I mean, it wasn't there's a big
Jay Cal. Yeah. Some people turn out to be Scott Galloway.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
it's tough.
This is good or bad.
Sarah, do you have any final thoughts of wisdom? Can you uplift me? Do you have any uplift?
I don't know about uplift. Just listening to you talk, you know, there is some of it I think is just social. Like thinking about how just how shallow it all is. Like you just get the sense that it's like, oh, some of the big bad boys of tech went this way, so like I kind of go this way too, and I don't know that much about politics and
high school cafeteria stuff.
Yeah, and the extent to which Trump, you know, I think about this a lot. Trump is like a lifestyle brand now, and in a way that people sort of use him to say like, oh look, I'm heterodox, and like somehow he caught fire as a symbol in Silicon Valley of like a heterodox way of thinking, pushing back against the system. And it's some of the things that people liked about Trump from the beginning. But I think that there was a reflexive at the time in 2016, even in 2020, sort of a revulsion to Trump that was social. Like it wasn't socially acceptable to support Trump. And then Elon made his big move. Sachs followed him, and now it feels like a lot of them are that's just what it feels like. And I don't know, man. You know, the stuff with Trump, I understand the anxiety. It's so interesting how interesting is not the right word because the stakes are so high, but like just watching people, Trump couldn't be acting any crazier. And I'm not even sure that people are noticing that much. Like it's not even popping so much in the groups, which is why I sort of going back. I don't know. We've been talking for hours now, but hours ago I said something about going on offense and really focusing on that they're crazy and weird and all of that high level stuff. Because if you let voters start getting into a point by point over immigration and economy, they kind of talk themselves into Trump because, you know, this whole public opinion's like cement. It's soft at first and then it's hardened. Like, people just have hardened impressions of Trump. They don't feel like they need to go watch his rally or his town hall. They're not looking for new information. They think they know what they need to know about him. And so it feels like without really getting people focused on how insane it all is, they kind of like bake it in. And didn't you write this piece about psychologically how we as people normalize Trump because we have to? Like it's just part of...
JVL just wrote that last week.
Yeah, I know. See, sometimes I do read the newsletters. Yeah. That's a good point about the human condition.
Yeah. The contrarian thing, just one other, we can let people out on this enraging fact. The other element of the podcast, since JVL won't watch, I just want to see his like eyeballs bulge. We had also had an exchange where he was lamenting that the elites weren't respectful enough of the job creators and the self-made men, and that the elites had disrespected, you know, Elon and them. And I can't, at that point I did have to interrupt, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Well, you guys, like your podcast is all billionaires. Like you are the elites. And he was like, well, actually I'm not a billionaire yet. But no, when I'm talking about the elites, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about like, you know, the people that went to Ivy League schools and are like journalists for New York Magazine. Oh, got it. So the $75,000 a year journalist living in like the JD Vance makes fun of, it gets back to that thing. It's like the childless cat lady that lives in a 1-bedroom apartment in New York that makes $70,000 a year and writes for New York Magazine and is dating on Hinge is an elite. And that person is condescending to the Trace Commas man that has his own jet and gets to fly to the president's event, who is a real salt of the earth person.
These guys just got stuffed in lockers all their lives, and they can't get over it.
I mean, that is really... You could spend a lot of time in psychiatric care kind of working through that, maybe, and never even come out the other side, maybe.
Good luck, America.
See you on the road. See you in Philly. It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be so fun. We're JVL, Tim and I, we are going to be on a bus together for hours. We're going to release lots of fun, weird buddy content. And stop at some Sheets and some Wawas. It's going to be great. All the shows are sold out, so you can't come, but you know.
You can come hang out outside. You can wait for us. Yeah. You can throw like the Beatles. Yeah, you know, we can do something.
We'll tell you how much fun we're having without you.
Yeah, it'll be great.